Rita Pita Potato Head entered the waiting room. I love it. I wonder if that's somebody whose kids got a hold of their their Zoom.
Possibly, possibly.
That sounds like something my kids would call one of their text chats.
Hmm.
Awesome. Oh, sweet. We got somebody from Canada here. Jason from Ontario. What's up, Jason? How do I see? You're a Zoom expert, Shannon. How do I see the gallery? Right now at the top, I see
Um,
me, I see you, and
when you click on that, do you see just to the right of recording, there's a little button. It kind of looks like one of those
oh,
old
yep,
school
yep,
director things. Click on
yep.
that and you'll be able to see the gallery.
It's funny though, I still only see the three, me, you, and my note taker. Wow, we got
We're coming.
Alaska, New Jersey. What about you? Are you able to
Nice.
see everybody?
Yeah.
I wonder
See
what I'm.
Robert, and Greg, and Brandon, and Jason. I feel like I'm on that. What was that show when we were kids? Who do I
Uh,
see in my magic mirror? And I
let's
see
see. I see.
Angel and Steph and Jason.
I see. Darlene now. Hey, Darlene. Hi.
I see iPhone.
Oh, there we go. I am sorry. What's up, Angel? Do you know after you tagged me in that post, 200 people asked to join AI prompts for real estate professionals?
Awesome.
That is awesome. Thanks for
Very
doing that.
cool.
I appreciate it. That was really cool.
Neat.
So glad everybody's here too, because I had an issue with my the link that I shared, unfortunately, was bad on a couple of the on a couple of the emails. So I'm just glad that everybody made it in okay. We're going to give it a few minutes before we get started. My friend Shannon is here to help keep you people in line.
Or I thought I was here to keep you in line.
No, 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 no.
Oh,
That
got it.
gets you booted from the call.
Oh.
If you try to control me, Shannon, you're going to find out that's a losing game.
Hmm.
But
All
I
right.
do want to encourage everybody to engage with my friend Shannon. Not during this call. I want all attention on me. But outside of this call, Shannon runs an amazing Facebook group called a what is it? AI Images for Entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Shannon's got a very broad, extremely broad expertise that includes marketing and business development, but she's also creates some kick-ass images and videos and is great at showing simple people like me how to do the same thing. So
And I'm hella fun in the chat too, so we're gonna have a good time today.
definitely. So Shannon, maybe towards the end or whenever you want, if you want to drop a link to your group too, I really appreciate you helping me out, and I
Absolutely. I'll do
would
that.
would definitely encourage people. So we've got okay, Vicky is from Ocala, and I know Robert's in here from Ocala. I was going to say, let's see who's the closest and who's the furthest away. So we've got somebody from Alaska, Canada. We got anybody further out than either of those two? All right, so we got Central Coast of California, oh, West Michigan for Rita Pita Potato Head. Nice. Another, we got more Canada, sweet. Texas, Carolina. Sweet. This is awesome. Oh, all right. Simron's in New York, DC. Okay, we got the UK in the house. Las Vegas. Sweet. All right. I won't read all these. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to bore everyone to death. I'm just fascinated to get to connect with people from all over the place. I think it's so cool. All right. So we are at 3:03. So I don't want to waste anybody's time. We're going to jump in. And today we're talking about building our second brains. And a very good question that I have been asked is, what about if we don't yet have a first brain? That's okay. You can jump ahead to building your second brain. You can join me in that endeavor. Um, so for housekeeping, I do have a bit of a hard stop at 4. I usually like to just stick around as long as we have questions. My goal is to get through the sort of prepared remarks in about 40 minutes and then have time for questions afterwards. Please definitely feel free to put questions in the chat. Uh, but we should have plenty of time for you to raise your hand and for us to discuss any questions. I do ask if you don't mind to stay on mute until we're actually conversing. And yeah, that's I think all the housekeeping. Like I said, Shannon's going to keep an eye on things. If you have any problems, you can like if I think I'm sharing my screen, she'll yell at me for that. But if you notice anything, definitely drop it in, and Shannon will have us covered. So I had this on full screen earlier. Let me get this back to full screen, and then I will. Sweet. I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to get going. Thanks again, everybody, for being here. And let's do this thing. All right. So we're talking about building a second brain. And this is going to be a Notebook LM training. I think it's not a secret. It's one of my favorite AI tools. Super cool. Um, Here's where we're going today. So we're going to talk about first framing the problem. And when I describe this, I feel confident that not only will you hear what I'm saying, you will feel what I'm saying, and you'll know what I'm getting at when I get into it. Then I want to talk through the framework, kind of not so much the tool yet, but like just the idea of what we're trying to accomplish with the tool. Then we're going to talk about the tool, and then I've got some pro tips for you, as well as we're going to do a couple of demos with demonstrating to you how you can actually use this. The most important thing to me, and if you've been in any of my trainings, you've heard me say this, is not that I show you cool stuff, but that you walk away saying, I can do this myself right now. And that's what we're going to do today. Um, so what's the problem we're talking about today? All right. Anybody feel like can identify with the idea with the statement, I just feel so overwhelmed. If that is a statement you identify with, throw a one in the chat. For me, I'm going to go ahead and jump in there because I feel that way on a daily basis. It's not, it's not a personal productivity problem. It's a structural problem of the age we live in. So Microsoft did a study on this, uh, studying productivity signals. We get 117 emails a day on average, 153 messages, and that's just the average knowledge worker. Real estate pros, on top of all of that, are also running their own businesses. So you've got so much, every 2 minutes, you have something pulling on your attention somewhere else. So before you even are looking at content you choose to consume, like podcasts or trainings or newsletters, you're already drowning in content you didn't even choose to be exposed to. And with real estate, we need to know MLS and market data. And 90% of us are using social media. So that means we're not just consuming, but we're expected to publish. We have to produce content and consume content and stay current on the market and manage client communications. I mean, I'm exhausted just talking about it. And then on top of that, there's the AI layer of new tools, new features, the next game changing app that you must have that comes out every single week. Your content stack as a real estate professional is genuinely one of the heaviest of any professions. And then raise your hand, or I guess we could do the one in the chat again. Have you ever bought a course that you didn't finish? And I put the first one in there because I have an inbox littered with courses that I'm going to get to one of these days, dang it. And it's not a character flaw. It's a completely rational response, okay, to our environment rewards novelty. And the fear of falling behind is real because our industry is full of people selling the next thing you have to know. So the result is we are perpetually learning, but rarely implementing. We're information rich, but action poor. And here's like real core insight. For most of the 20th century, knowledge and knowing things was a competitive advantage. The agent who knew the neighborhood, who had the data, who understood the contract, that agent won. But today, every agent has access to the same data, the same reports, the same AI tools. And not just every agent, but many of our clients have access to more data than any other time in the history of real estate profession. So the access to information has been democratized, and it's no longer the differentiator it used to be. What creates value now is the ability to take information and do something with it faster, more consistently, and more creatively than anyone else. And that's what a second brain enables. And I don't know that I say this anywhere else in the training, so I want to make sure I say it here. I want to give credit where credit's due. I don't actually have the book here with me. I am in the midst of reading the book, Building a Second Brain, and it has been a great book that I would highly recommend. I wouldn't say this is necessarily drawn on that same platform or whatever, but it definitely borrows content from that book, and I would highly recommend it. So, what is a second brain? So, our biological brain is extraordinary. It is a miraculous uh, device of nature. It's extraordinary at generating ideas, making connections, solving problems in the moment, but it's not designed to be a reliable long-term storage system. And I think my brain was particularly not designed to be a long-term storage system. But a second brain is what bridges the gap. It is meant to offload that storage function and be an external storage system, freeing up our cognitive capacity for work that requires human judgment. It's not a new concept. This is a thing that creatives have used for a long time, and this is talked about in the book. He talks about keeping commonplace books or researchers using reference systems. But what's new and what's exciting for us today is that AI has made having a second brain that much more powerful and accessible. To frame this, let's talk a little bit about the life cycle that information has to travel through before it creates any value. We are all consuming ridiculously enormous amounts of data and information, but what many of us lack is a system to process it into applicable knowledge. And I would 1000% put myself in that boat, meaning I have for a very long time enjoyed reading books. I would read a book, I'd pull a little nugget out of it, and then I would set it aside. But I wasn't really putting into action what I was learning in reading those books. And that has changed as I've learned how to engage AI in this. So a second brain becomes the infrastructure that bridges the gap. The goal is not to consume more, it's to convert more of what we're consuming into action. And NotebookLM is the tool we're going to use to make this happen. But I want to talk a little bit about some best practices when it comes to capturing and working a knowledge system. So I'm going to move forward because we dive into these each a little closer in each slide. So many of us save everything but really can find nothing, or we save nothing and then we remember nothing. So we have a very powerful filter question about what we're capturing. We want to capture things that are surprising, or they're actionable, or I would regret not having this. And the organizational principle is the one that, and I don't want to say most people because that would sound like I'm talking about others. I'll say this is the one that most of us get backwards, and I'm still kind of working through this, but we often will file things by source, meaning like where did it come from? Like in the example on our slide, it says maybe I organize things as articles I've read when it may be more helpful to organize things by what their use case will be. So, like where I'm going to need it. So, maybe it's an article that I read about listing appointment prep with a YouTube video about listing appointment prep, with a magazine article, with a podcast, all of that organized in that manner, which again is a nice thing about Notebook. It can help create connectivity between notebooks. Um, the next the best practice is to distill. So distilling in our own words is a very high level, high leverage habit. You process what you read by changing it into your own words. Connecting ideas is where the magic happens and where AI tools like Notebook can be really transformative. Expressing regularly is the habit that really ramps things up. And what I like to think about with expressing regularly, that's why the mantra of our group is learn, do, teach. Expressing what you learn through teaching or through showing others really solidifies it. And then it's always a good habit to go back and review and prune to keep things useful. With that said, let's talk about NotebookLM. And I'm not going to go into like crazy detail here because I do have other notebook trainings where I talk a little bit more about the functionalities within Notebook. But I will just, in case this is an introduction to Notebook for you, I want to go through a couple of little things. And just to be really clear, I'm going to be demoing Notebook in these methods that I'm talking about. But this is just setting the stage for that. NotebookLM is a Google product. It's Google NotebookLM, and it's now running on Gemini 3. It's one of the most powerful and underused tools available and I'm saying to real estate professionals because that's what a lot of us are, but just in general, it's tremendously underused. Um, the free version is really, really amazing. So you don't have to pay for anything to get value from this. I am a big believer in the Gemini ecosystem is worth the $10 or $20 a month you would pay to upgrade, but you don't have to. It's free and the free version is great. But one thing that I want you to understand is what makes it different. It's not ChatGPT, okay? General AI like Chat or Claude or even Gemini, it's trained on the entire internet. And they're brilliant generalists, meaning they know everything about everything, but at times they hallucinate and very confidently will give you the wrong information. I love calling out my AI, like, I don't think that's true. And then it's like, okay, you got me. That's not accurate. I made that up. I'm like, that's kind of a big deal. Well, the great thing about Notebook LM, it only gives you answers based on the documents that you upload. So if the answer isn't in the source, it doesn't make it up. It says, I don't know. Can you imagine AI saying, I don't know? And in our regulated spaces of real estate, property management, title, like accuracy and compliance matter. So this is essential. And another great thing with Notebook is every answer comes with a citation, meaning if you look at it, you say, I don't know if that seems right. It has a little button you can press and it'll take you to exactly where it got that information. So it's another great thing about Notebook. And again, I'm going to run through this quickly. It's kind of boring stuff, but I don't know. Manus thought you should know that the technology behind Notebook is it's a RAG database or a retrieval augmented generation, but you don't need to know that. What you need to know is you put your stuff in, you ask questions, you get cited answers out. So it's like having a research assistant who's read every document you've ever given them and can find anything instantly. And unlike a human assistant, it's available at any time, doesn't call in sick, whatever. All right. In Google Notebook LM, you can upload all kinds of stuff: PDF files, images, audio files, YouTube videos, call recordings, handwritten notes. For real estate, maybe it's inspection reports, HOA documents, market reports, training transcripts, brokerage policy manuals, all of it. And one note about Notebook is that it's a closed ecosystem, meaning it, you're putting stuff in, but nothing's being trained on the data you put into it. So you've got to all have your own policy around what you put into AI, but with Notebook, it's much more closed, meaning it's not being trained. So I'm still not putting social security numbers in it, but you can be a little less concerned about, the PII, the your contracts and things of that nature. And again, this is all like a personal kind of business decision, but in Notebook, it's really tightly controlled and really secure. Now, let's talk a little bit about what it can do. And again, this is something I'm going to jump through so that we can get to the demo. The audio overview is still the go-to party trick of AI. Go into a notebook, click on audio overview, and be prepared to have your mind blown when you get your very own personalized, customized podcast with two AI voices talking that sound like it's two folks. I mean, it's such a cool thing. You can even interrupt the podcast and ask questions. The video overview now is incredible, has a deep research function. It's got all kinds of great stuff. We can't cover everything. And again, like I said, I've got other trainings in the real estate, in the AI prompts for real estate group. You can find the other Gemini trainings in the featured section at the top. So here are some real estate use cases. A buyer's agent, maybe you would maintain like a notebook with HOA rules, zoning, and school districts, or a listing agent, your CMA and market reports are in there. You can hold your training library in there, every coaching call you attend, every training you watch, every book you read, all of it can go in and become queryable. And for transactions, instead of digging through a 300-page HOA document or a 40-page inspection report, you can upload it and you can just ask. And again, like I said, so I don't agree actually with this slide. In fact, I created this slide deck with AI, and I think it did a beautiful job. But in this one case, I would highly encourage you to look at getting on a paid plan. And I'm not shilling for Google. I just feel like what you get when you pay for Gemini, not just Google Notebook, but what you get when you pay for Gemini, it's well worth the investment. So I would encourage at least a plus, but even under free, you can have 100 notebooks with 50 sources per notebook, create audio and video generations, and then it goes up from there. Now, this is the first sort of pro tip of the day. And again, I'm going to demo it and not just talk about it. But this is so cool, okay? You can now connect your notebook to a Gemini chat. And what that does is that then means this Google Notebook that you've created, because remember, in Notebook, you can query and chat with it, but it's still a little clunky. By connecting it in Gemini, you unlock other tools, including one I just learned today that I was like, one of my favorite things about doing this work of creating these trainings is I get to learn to then teach. So I love it. So I'm going to show you guys that. In fact, I'll kind of read through the little bullet points that I have here just so that I make sure I don't miss something. But you really have to see it to be like, so so this integration allows you to attach your notebooks inside a Gemini chat. So Notebook becomes the grounded backend, 100% accurate, cited your sources only, and Gemini becomes the action layer. It can browse the live internet, build dashboards, write code, and create complex documents. So together they function like a professional grade enterprise AI system, and they are available effectively for free. Although, like I said, I advocate paying. So I'm actually going to skip this next slide because, in fact, I'm going to jump right into doing a bit of a demo. Let me pause before I jump into the demo, and either if somebody wants to raise their hand, welcome to, or if you have any questions in the chat, hit me.
Hi, I do see a couple of questions in the chat. Angel's asking if you have pay for Google Workspace, is that already included or enhanced? And isn't that the question of the day all of the time?
Yes. And so great news, Angel. No, you do not have to pay extra. If you already pay for Workspace, then you're in great shape. You've got everything you need in terms of, the enhanced access to Workspace and Gemini and all that. And I'm not going to apologize for this, but you're going to see a lot more Google content in our group. I mean, I love Claude. I love ChatGPT. I love Perplexity. I love Manus. For our profession, I feel like the biggest bang for the buck is in Gemini. It is, well, I won't go too, but long story short, yeah, you've already got what you need. Hillary, I'm not aware of a connection between Microsoft and Notebook. Um, so I'm not aware of anything that would connect the two. And honestly, I'd be surprised if there was, but maybe there is. But just because they're competing workspaces and whatnot, I would think there wouldn't be. But then can a gym become useful in the notebook? And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how useful it can be. So yeah, let's jump in. Thank you guys for the questions. And like I said, I am I'm gonna have space for questions here at the end. I am gonna take a peek over in my emails and just make sure. I haven't seen anybody say they couldn't get in. That's good. I was really sweating that. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm gonna jump into um, Notebook LM. So this is the dashboard you're gonna see when you come into Notebook LM. And I have a surprise for all you fine people. All right, so one of the things that we talked about being able to use Notebook for is to capture our trainings. And I've been doing this for a little while, but it's become more and more valuable. And that is I add when I attend someone's trainings like Shannon or Jonathan Mast, who is my AI mentor. When I attend their trainings, I take their replay documents that they share, which typically have like the transcript and the links to all their resources, and I create a notebook with that information in it. What I did for this training was I went and created a notebook with all of my trainings in it to share with you all. So I'm going to show that to you right here. So this is AI prompts for real estate professionals training guide. And here, let me go ahead and before I forget, and Shannon, I don't think I gave you this link. So here's the link. Somebody, anybody, everybody. Oh, yep, it's restricted, so you can't get access. Just kidding. I'm changing that right now. All right, so let me know if you're able to access this, and I'll show you the different ways you can engage with it. Shannon, are you able to click on it and it opens and all that good stuff? Okay, awesome. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, Valentina, can you try again? Because it may have been before I. You in now? Awesome. All right, cool. Sweet. All right, so here's how a notebook works. It's got three sections: sources, and that's where you add whatever different sources you want. And what you can see here, all these little red YouTube looking symbols, they're YouTube symbols. So that's the different YouTube videos that I have out there. Um, or the other documents here are the resource documents. And one thing I wanted to demonstrate for you is like when you open it in Notebook, it looks kind of funky. It's not really the best for like reading over your document, but this is a great place to store them because this little square with the arrow at the top up here, when you click on that, it allows you to open the document. And I don't, does that, Shannon, can you check that functionality because to be honest with you, I didn't think about it until just now. But does that work on your side as well? Okay, perfect. I didn't know if when I was sharing it, if it limited your access to stuff. So you can look at any of the sources that you have. So it's a good way to store, but then the real power is that now it becomes this almost is like now I've built you your own little your own little chat GPT with my trainings, but again, you can do this with any documents, anything you want. But you could come in here and you could say, what are the trainings that Clay has given? Or I don't know, that grammar feels really poor, but I'm thinking and typing at the same time, which is a bit of a challenge for me. So, but now you can come in and you can ask it questions, or you might come in and say, um, I am training a new real estate agent. What are some things I can give them that Clay has taught? This feels very self-centered, but I thought it would be cool to share this with you. Okay, so it comes up here. My first question is being, what are the trainings that I've given? It says, okay, well, we've got Introduction to Notebook LM for Real Estate Professionals. So if you're like, I want to know more about Notebook LM, well, here is that training. It's saying, okay, this training held on March 25th, blah, blah, blah. But remember, I told you it gives you your citations. Well, this little number one, when I hover over it, it shows me where it got that information. And now I can click on links that are in here. It's given little, or I could click on this and it'll bring me right to the resource document where it got the information from. So that's the beauty of those citations. And then let's see, where is that? Oh, I didn't hit enter, but the next question, I am training a new real estate agent. What are some things Clay I can give them that Clay has taught? And that'll come up. The other thing that I use it for is like, when you take a training with me or with Shannon or with Jonathan, with a lot of people, they give you links to different tools. And you're like, man, where do I keep all these links? Well, with Notebook, you don't have to think about that anymore. So I could come in here and I could say, can you give me the links to the resources he provided in the intro to Notebook training? So this is a perfect example of like, now I don't have to remember where I kept those links. Notebook remembers it for me as my second brain. What? It's all coming together. So see now it's here's your training replay. So you can just click right on that and get to YouTube. Here's the resource guide, the Chrome extension that I shared, and then as always, the link to my Facebook community, which if you're not already a member, shame, 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 you need to be a member of the Facebook community. So hopefully you're seeing the benefit of accumulating your data in Notebook LM because it makes it really, really easy to kind of, engage with that data and it takes some of the load off of your poor little brain. But we're real estate professionals, so let's look at an example that I created for like, let's say we're working with a buyer and we want to create a transaction notebook. So I've come in here and I've created a buyer's notebook. One thing that is a really cool feature in Notebook that I wasn't able to make work for some reason, I don't know why, is you can customize and have like a little header image. I've seen it and it looks really cool. I mean, it's kind of what's going on with these featured notebooks. For whatever reason, when I tried to do it, I couldn't. This had like a big one of those ugly red circles with like a slash through it. I'm like, I don't want that. So I put in a cute little couple for my buyers. These are made up people. I'm not violating anybody's privacy. So I loaded this with like say you probably have a buyer intake form or something where you get people's information, their pre-approval letter, and then notes from their showings that we've gone on, along with like I populated with the emails that I've gone back and forth with them on. Now, I've mentioned this before in trainings and I'll mention it here again. I think that for real estate professionals in 2026, we have a huge opportunity to record our conversations with people, disclose it to them. If people are uncomfortable with it, don't do it. But like especially if you're having consultations over a Zoom or something like that. And the reason that I believe in that and think it's such a great opportunity is by recording that conversation, you drop it into your notebook, the transcript, and now all of a sudden you don't have to remember that, oh, that's right, Sarah's allergic to a particular plant and can't live in this area. Or, and then beyond just you remembering it, now you share it with your assistant, or let's say you work with a buyer's agent. Now they know everything you've talked to them about. Angel, I saw your question in person. I use a device called Plaud, Plaud, and it's like 150 bucks and then you subscribe to it, but it does a great job of transcribing your conversations. And then if I'm on a call like this, I use Fathom recorder as well as Zoom's native recorder. So sorry for that little aside, but I do feel like there's value in adding it over here, and it is an external device. I was looking at Otter. I don't know if anybody's using OTTER or OTTR or whatever. I'm going to check that out because I believe that one has a iPhone app. Um, but anyways, again, not to get too far off track. And then I'm gonna I oh cool, Shannon. We can maybe chat about that at the during the question and answer. So now I have this notebook with Mike and Sarah's information in it, and I want to demonstrate now using a notebook connected to a gym. Okay, so I think I should provide some context about what a gym is. A gym, if you've heard of a custom GPT, a gym is Google Gemini's version of a custom GPT. And it may sound fancy or complicated, but it's not. A gem, just like a custom GPT, is made up of custom instructions and knowledge files. Basically, if you have a prompt that you do over and over and over and over again all the time, you might consider creating a custom GPT that has that, or a custom gem that has that prompt already loaded in it. Or if you're constantly attaching the same things to your chats or your Gemini conversations, throw those into a custom gem and then they're attached all the time. Or, and this is where we're going to go next level, you have a notebook with your information in it, and then you can attach it to your gems. And I think this is going to make sense in 2 seconds. So I have created and I'm sharing with you guys. Shannon's already put it in the chat, and it's also going to be in the resource document. I have created two gems for you guys. Oh, in fact, I have fancy looking. Yeah, look at who we got here. We got Franklin, our follow-up assistant, and Debby the Debriefer. Okay. I've learned, and Shannon will back me up on this. I've had to tell, these were both made with Manus. I've had to tell my AI, hey, let's back down the sexiness of our characters at times, like, because I like this comic book style, but sometimes it right, I don't have to. So I said, I want Debbie and I want Franklin to both be classy, fully clothed. Yes, exactly. All right. So I'm sharing with you Franklin, the follow-up assistant, and Debbie, the debriefer. So okay, so Franklin is our follow-up guy. And I need to get my descriptions in here. So I'll update that. But I'm going to throw in here, watch this. Okay, so this is a Gemini gem, and I've just got my little chat window here. I'm going to hit the little plus sign, and I have options to. Did I do that, or did someone draw on my screen somehow? All right. I have options to upload files, add from my drive. I can add photos. I can import code. But for our purposes today, we want to focus on this little NotebookLM button. So I've got my buyer notebook with all of my information about Mark and Sarah. So now instead of having to come in and say, all right, I need a follow. So I could come in and I could say, I need a follow up for Mark and Sarah Henderson, and they've looked at these houses, and then oh yeah, they've got two dogs, and see, I'd have to remember all that to put it into my chat. I don't have to do that with Notebook LM, so I can just come in here and I can say, hey, I haven't heard from these folks in a little bit. Can you help me with maybe a couple of ideas for some follow up communication for them? And because I have all of my information in this notebook, that gives Franklin everything that he needs to know about Mark and Sarah, if I remembered their names correctly. So now, hey, still thinking about 123 Main? I checked the county records and the property line actually extends 15 to 20 feet past the current fence. So it knew that their concern was the backyard size for their golden retrievers, Buster and Daisy. Cute dogs, a little aggressive. Then, okay, but now Franklin's saying, do you want to text them? Or maybe here's an email, or here's a script to give them a call. So that's what Franklin will help you do is come up with your follow-ups for people. But really the idea I want to put forth here is by having all of this information in this notebook, now I can connect it to Gemini, and now Gemini can do these things for me. Now, oh, Angel, you're about to miss the coolest part. You're gonna have to hang on. Hang on. All right. I'm gonna hurry. Okay. So this was really cool. I was able to earlier do this, and I'm gonna go really fast. I'm gonna attach this notebook. Gemini has this tool called Canvas. So I'm gonna say, please create a buyer journey um, interactive tool for me to share. Let's see how this goes. Hey, Kelly, I see your question. And what you're wanting to do is click on the link for the gym. And then I'll show you when this gets done where you would see that after you've clicked on the link for the gym. And just in case anybody didn't see it, Kelly asked, how do we save these gyms to our account? Or do we have to save these gyms to our account? And the answer is no. Once I share it with you, once you've clicked on it, then it'll be in your shared with me gyms. All right, guys, hello, look at this. Look at this. I just literally, this simple prompt, please create a buyer journey interactive tool for me to share. And so it popped up all this stuff from my notebook. Property review. These are the properties we looked at. Here's what we thought of them. Search strategy. Okay, here's what we're doing now. And I'm sure that this could be made so much more powerful with a better prompt. But man, it blew my mind earlier when I'm like, oh, I just attach a notebook and now I can create this stuff. So that I wanted to show you guys Canvas. So Angel, you now have my permission to leave. Okay. Bye, girl. All right. I've only started playing with Canvas in Gemini. It looks incredible. This isn't a Canvas training. This is a notebook training. So yeah, I wanted to show you how you can attach notebooks to your Gemini chats. Um, similarly, we might, so Debby the Debriefer is meant to help if you were to, and to be clear, with both Franklin and Debby, you don't have to attach a notebook. You could just give Debby your meeting notes and then she could create something from that. So I'll show you Debby real quick. Excuse me. Not now. Not now, Gemini. So I'm going to come in and just so I can show you, hey, Kelly, here's how you would view your gyms in the future, the ones that I've shared with you. And again, you have to click on the link. So if somebody shares a gym with you, it doesn't just naturally show up in this section. You actually have to engage it. But if you click on your gym section over here in the right-hand column of Gemini, down under where you create gyms, it has shared with me. And so Franklin and Debby would both be available here. So I'm clicking on Debby and I'm going to connect the AI prompts for real estate professionals training guide. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, can you please summarize the last training? Training in this notebook. And so Debbie will run her little thing. And these aren't like mind-blowing custom gems. I just wanted to show them to you so you get some idea of how this stuff works. I mean, hopefully they create value for you. Come on, Debbie. I was having a little bit of trouble with Debbie earlier. Ugh, custom gems. Can't live with them. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what I'm saying. I think Debbie might be on a break, so I might have to mess with Debbie a little bit. We'll let her continue to do her thing. But with that said, oh, there's so much in Notebook that we could spend hours and hours and hours, but I do want to make sure I can answer questions. So, any questions? Anybody want to dive into anything further, anything I didn't cover or whatever? Um, Shannon, do we have any questions in the chat?
I think that you got the one that was from Angel.
I
And
think,
oh
oh,
wait,
I know.
hold on.
Scott said, how do you attach emails?
Oh, yep.
So, generally, you would, print them to a PDF and save them. I would tell you, and what I would experiment with, because one of the things that I love about Gemini is that it connects all of your workspace apps. So I almost wonder if you couldn't attach your notebook without having to load the emails in it and tell Gemini, hey, this is Scott and Kelly Henderson. Can you also pull any relevant emails from Gmail? Because one of the things I love, and I don't know how well it will work. And this isn't my workspace account. This is we'll call it my burner notebook. But let's see if I were to say, can you um, check my email for any unread emails and summarize. And what you'll see if this works like it does, yeah, first you'll need to, okay, so connect. So see here where it says Gmail and it shows the Gmail label. So it's connected to your Gmail. So I almost don't necessarily think that you have to add those emails in. That was the example that it populated into the example when I created it in Manus. I see the question about is this similar to Obsidian? I don't know yet. I'm still like I was just on a call yesterday where we were talking about Obsidian. I'm gonna check out Obsidian. It sounds like there may be some similarities, but I know the person who was telling me about it actually uses Notebook too. So I don't know. I always preach that you should keep your tech stack as thin as possible and then do the opposite. Kind of like when I'm, telling my kids, do what I say, not what I do. I I will be checking out Obsidian. I don't think you can directly connect Notebook to Follow Up Boss. One of the things about Notebook, so Gemini has a very broad API where you can like pull things in and out of Gemini easily. Notebook does not, and I think that's because it's trying to protect its ecosystem. Now, there is a workaround. What you could do is, I think Follow Up Boss has a Google Sheets either native integration, or you can do like have Follow Up Boss connect to Zapier and then populate a Google Sheet with your contact records. And you can use a Google Sheet as a notebook source. So you couldn't directly connect Follow Up Boss um, and Notebook, but you could connect Follow Up Boss to Google Sheets and then talk about Google Sheet or then connect Google Sheets into Notebook. But yes, copying and pasting works too. Oh, you were talking about something else, Shannon. Okay, link to that buyer notebook. I don't know the answer to that, Andrew. I apologize, but I will be happy to check that out.
Hey,
Let's.
Clay.
Yes, ma'am.
What I was talking to Hillary about, her regular browser is Firefox, and she's
Yep.
not signed into Gemini there, so she isn't able to just click on the gems. She's trying to copy and paste them into Chrome, but she's having an issue. So I didn't know if that was something you knew how to troubleshoot because I'm not having that issue. I've copied and pasted them up into a couple different things already, and they're
Yep. I'm not
working.
sure. So, Hillary, you said they open but don't save. When you click on, do you mind coming off mute, Hillary?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hey girl. So when you so you click on them and it opens, right?
No, I didn't click on it because it'll just pop up Firefox, and that's not where I sign into Gemini. I have Google Chrome open to the profile that I use Gemini in, and so I
Yep.
cut and paste, and I get
Mhm.
them to come up, but they don't save in gems, and if I click and say pin, it doesn't pin, so they're just there as links.
Well, I want you to look at one thing, and then if that doesn't work, then I'll follow up with you after the call. Um, but when you click on gems and then scroll to the bottom of that screen, they're not down there under shared with me.
I only have two gems and a bunch of chats, and then it ends.
But there's a button, like when you look over in the right-hand column here, actually, am I still sharing? So do you see this where it says gems here?
Yeah.
And when you click on that, does
Oh.
this screen open up? And then you can scroll down and it says shared with
Uh,
me.
oh, I see. My gem shared with me. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Are they
And,
there?
yeah. Yeah. And then I do what? Make a copy or a pin it?
No, no. I mean, they'll stay there. You can just click on them and use them.
Oh, okay. So they won't show up over in the left. I have to.
No, it's not like
Okay.
ChatGPT. It
Okay.
only shows like maybe two gems at a time, and
Okay.
you can pin them. I don't know why they're not pinning for you, but you should be able to pin them.
That's
So
good to know. Okay. So they were
yep,
just down a level or two. Okay.
yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh yeah, no problem. All right, I think we had yeah, and I said Jason, you said N8, and we'll do that as well. I use Zapier like broadly. I actually use Make probably more often than I use Zap. I just sort of like FedEx when I'm really UPSing kind of deal. Um, I see that Mr. Vivas about talking about can you talk about the sources in depth? Market reports, since there's a lot of data out there, where can we obtain market reports? Is it better to feed Notebook from different sources of the same info? So the short answer, like for me, when I think of market reports, so as a licensed realtor, I receive or I can go on Florida Realtors and pull this exact market report. I've also to create my own information in Notebook have gone into my MLS and exported data and then uploaded it to the notebook and then had the notebook create reports for me. I mean, one of the beautiful things about Notebook is you can do exactly what you said here, which is grab reports from different sources. I would just be careful to be like to look for consistency among the reports so it doesn't like get confused or and what I mean by consistency is just maybe validate the data a little bit that it seems to be somewhat accurate. But yeah, it can pull data from all over the place. And then, I mean, we still have some time. We don't have a ton of questions, so I could also show you, in Notebook, you can bring in your own sources, but you can also search for sources. So see here, it says, search the web. So I could come in here and say Ocala real estate uh, market updates. And then it'll go out and it'll search the web to find sources related to the topic that I've asked it for. So you have the ability to control every bit of data that goes in, including these where you're asking it to bring data in. And I'll show you that when it gets done searching. But you can also bring data in from the web if you choose to. So it's researching websites, and what it's going to do is it's going to pop up, 8 or 10 websites here for me or sources. And I would encourage you when you use this function, always view it and say, okay, uh, does the source, you know, make sense for what I'm trying to do here? And these all seem pretty good. So I would say import. Every once in a while, you'll get some kind of like goofy-ish stuff that it throws in there. And so now I have a notebook on this. Oh, that reminds me. Thank you. I'm so glad you asked that question. I have two more awesome tools to share with you guys. These aren't mine. These are just amazing enhancements to your Google Notebook, and these are in the resource document. I'm almost positive, but I'll put the links here as well. So the first one is um, YouTube to Notebook LM is incredible. So don't judge my YouTube defaults here, okay? All right. So if I were to say type in here, like Jonathan Mast, and I would go to Jonathan's YouTube channel. He's got 1,700 videos. Holy mackerel, that's a lot of videos. If I click on this little Notebook LM button and hit create new notebook, watch what happens. It's so cool. And this is totally free. Look what it just did. It just populated a notebook with all of his videos. Well, I say all, it does have a limit. He has 1,700 videos, but it populated, I think I can do up to 500. So with just one click of a button, I now have a Jonathan Mast knowledge base. So amazing extension. I highly recommend that you engage with if you're using Notebook. And again, it's called, and here I'll get the link to it. YouTube to Notebook LM. Here's the link. I'm going to throw it in the chat. And then the other one that I really love is called Kortex. And that's Kortex. Where is that? Here it is, Kortex. And it's huge for this whole second brain thing. One of my favorite things that Kortex does is let me pull up. Is it here? Yeah, see in Gemini where it has this Notebook LM button, or if I'm in ChatGPT, I can come in here and well, I'll just go over to one of my chats. And where is, well, Kortex. Let me refresh. What Kortex does is it has this little notebook button where you can add your chats to Notebook that I'm not seeing here. Let me see if it comes up on my Claude. Hmm. Look at these cute little coupons that I designed with Claude. Is that what this training is? I forget. Come on up, coupons. But here, see this Notebook LM button here at the top of my Claude? So now I can add my chat. You know how we're always like, where was that chat where I blobbity blobbity blod? Well, now if I'm in the middle of a chat and I'm like, I'd really love to have this data long term, I can throw it into either a new notebook or an existing notebook. And that's with Cortex, Kortex. And yeah, Darlene, I'll make sure that I'm pretty sure I already put them in the document, but I'll double check before. You will get an email tomorrow that has the replay and the resource document if you don't already have. And yeah, these are Chrome extensions. So yeah, you can upload a YouTube or add a YouTube channel and it extracts all of their videos and transcripts, etc. So really incredible stuff. Oh yeah, my coupons came up. Look how cute these are. Oh my gosh. So anybody in the Ocala area, come to the Polo Pony tonight for a party. Okay, what questions do you guys have? I'm all ears.
So we had one in the chat, Clay, that I'm not sure if you saw. Lewis was asking so we can upload a YouTube channel and pretty much extract the info we're looking for.
Yes. So like if, for example, in the Jonathan Mast one, I could come in and say, what are the frameworks Jonathan shares? And then it'll give me a bunch of data here. I do this all the time. Like I'll connect with, or I'll see a new, coach out there that has tons of YouTube channel or YouTube videos, YouTube to Notebook LM, and then it's as if, I don't want to like oversell it. It's not like you're having a conversation with them, but it's kind of like you're having a conversation with them a little bit because you can just ask questions of their transcripts. So this might take a minute, but yeah, it's brings in all the data you could ever need here. Oh, and Heidi, okay. Don't take me down this path, Heidi, but yeah, Little Bird is another app that I'm using that's really cool. I know, right? I'm like, oh, keep your tech stack thin, and here's 15 things you should buy or should engage with. Like I said, these are free. Oh yeah. So Jason, let me see. I actually popped up the podcast in one of these just in case we had that question. So hopefully it's done generating. Perfect. It is. Okay. So, oh shoot. I'm gonna stop sharing and then reshare real quick because I didn't do the audio. Share sound, share. All right. So hopefully, can you still see my screen? Okay. I'm gonna hit play.
So, welcome back to the deep dive. Today is Thursday, May 14th, 2026. And I want you to imagine something for a
Can you
second.
guys hear
Lay
it?
it on me.
Imagine you just finished an hour-long client meeting. You close your laptop, and then you just do, well, absolutely nothing.
Oh, wow. That sounds highly unlikely for most people.
Right. I mean, no typing up those frantic shorthand notes, no moving dates to your calendar, no draft, like 3 different follow-up emails. Your entire administrative workflow just quiet.
How crazy is that? So I just hit a button, and then a few minutes later, now I have a podcast with my data. The way that I use this is the most frequently is when I want to learn something new. I'll pull all the data, like with the YouTube extension I showed you or whatever, into a notebook, and then I'll hit the audio overview. And then when I'm driving around somewhere, I'll just listen to it like I'm listening to a podcast or whatever. So yeah, it's incredible. Like I said, it's like the big party trick of AI where you click that button and you hit play and like when I'm in a training, like a live training, people's eyes just turn into saucers. Michelle asked a question that, oh, okay, thank you, Shannon. You answered. I actually didn't know the answer to that. So that's something we can do. Awesome.
Yeah, Google AI Studios is Google's version in the Googleverse of you. There's a lot of things those regular peeps can do, and then tech peeps can hang out in there, and the APIs are available in there. And there's some like Gemma 4s in there where you can use an offline browse, like without your browser, you can use a version of Gemini. It's called Gemma 4. There's so much cool stuff in there, and the best way to figure it out is to open up Google AI Studios
And
and
play.
open up your Ask Gemini window on the side and then ask Gemini what you can do with Google AI Studios, and you'll find out all
Beautiful.
kinds of cool things.
Oh, beautiful. Jason, on the 11 labs to use your voice, not currently. There's been some, and I shouldn't say currently as if it's around the corner. I don't think there's like I haven't heard anything about using your own voice, but I did hear at some point that you're going to be able to change out for different voices. Right now, it's the same 2 voices every single time. It's one of the, I mean, I don't want to call it a drawback because it's such an amazing piece of technology. Yes, Shannon, breaking news.
Well, I don't know, it's not breaking yet, but VO3, which is also a Google product, just in the last month or so started allowing you to choose an 11 Labs voice and be able to use the same consistent voice through your videos. And since they're using the same technology
Yeah.
in Notebook, I think it's like it's a thing. You get it, then you get it, then it keeps moving. So yeah, cross your fingers. I feel like that's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to just point out, see the value with Shannon. So highly encourage you guys to engage with her and with her trainings. Adam, I see your question. I'm happy to show this again. It's so super easy. There are a couple little idiosyncrasies. All right, so let's go over here and here's my friend Stacy, who's a great property management mind. If you're in that area, she's great to follow. One of the little idiosyncrasies of this tool is occasionally this little button over here won't show up and you have to hit refresh. But this is how easy it is. You just click on this button. And so this, you're in YouTube, you're not in a notebook, you're in YouTube. You click on Notebook LM and you can either create a new notebook or you can add it to a notebook. So that's it. It's that easy. And you hit create new notebook. And just like that, it populates with all of our videos. And you have a great knowledge base on whoever it is that you're following. So awesome. All right, last call here for questions. Um, I'm still ruminating, thinking about what the next training will be, but rest assured I'll be promoting that shortly. Really enjoying this. I really appreciate everybody coming in and participating in these trainings. Kelly, I you can copy. Oh, well, no, this is copying your chats. Shan, do you know, is there a way to copy, like, so if you created a templated notebook and then made a copy of it?
I have not done that, but it's a great idea. You know who I would ask? Perplexity.
Let's ask Perplexity. You and yeah, Heidi said, can you might be able to do that using Cortex. That's the kind Cortex layer is not just what I showed of it being able to capture in AI chats. Cortex adds all kinds of functionality into your notebooks. So we are asking, can we?
Perplexity said nope, not yet.
Okay,
Said
there
it's
you
a great
go.
idea though.
Are you quoting Perplexity when you said nope, not yet?
Okay, it said no native duplicate button yet. NotebookLM currently has no one-click clone or template feature built in. It's one of the most requested features in the community, but as of now, it's a big fat nope. No, that's not what it said. But my
Okay,
perplexity is cool.
your Perplexity is cool. Awesome. Well, listen, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, if you're not already in the community, AI prompts for real estate professionals, the link will be in the replay document when I send that out tomorrow. You should have gotten it in your emails, but I'm going to send a follow-up email with the replay and everything. So, everybody, you're so welcome. Thank you. One favor I would have to ask is if you have the opportunity to share with people that you enjoyed this training, like when you see me post stuff about it, if you could just say, "Hey, well, we got a lot of value." If you did, I'm not asking you to lie. I mean, you can lie if you want to lie. If you want to say, "Oh my God, Clay was amazing. It was the most incredible thing I've ever done in my life. It was the most value." Please do. But if you wouldn't mind just sharing that so that more people engage with this, I would appreciate it. Check out Shannon's stuff.
Do
And
you know what would be cool, Clay?
what would be
It would be
cool?
so cool if everybody who's in here for just a minute, if you could just take just a moment and leave Clay something he won't ask you for, which is the testimonial, just, right here in the chat, because then I can copy and paste them for him and he'll have some fun stuff to read later. It'll be great.
That would be
So
so
if you
sweet.
did, there is
No,
a ton of value here. And if you guys have not played with Notebook, seriously, don't be afraid of it. You're not going to break it. Go in and you can use a notebook for anything. One of my favorite use cases for a notebook that is not real estate, Clay used as an example one time, which is like recipes. Like you literally can make a notebook out of anything that you want to search, and then you can have it do things for you. So you could come up with all of the different recipes or all of the things your families can eat and what they can't eat and everybody's stuff. And then you can have it come up with your recipes and your shopping list every week. Like there's so many ways to use a notebook. You can lose a whole weekend.
Hillary wants to like mind meld. It won't take long, Hillary. I just read a teleprompter. I actually don't know anything. I'm kind of like Ron Burgundy and Anchorman, where like anything that comes across the screen, I just read it. That's all that is. So, oh my gosh, iPhone made one for their husband on Red Dead Redemption. Great game. Love it. That's incredible. Awesome. All right, y'all. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We will see you on the next one. And thank you so much, Shannon, for your help as always.
You're very welcome. Take care, everybody.
See y'all.